My name is Donna K. Qualls, and I am 31 years old. The little black box felt like a stone in my coat pocket, a heavy secret I had carried for 3 months, with the stupid, hopeful tenderness of a woman who still believed being thoughtful could protect love from humiliation. Ethan had mentioned the watch in September while scrolling through an auction site, acting casual in that way people do when they want something but do not want to say it out loud. "God, that vintage Omega is literally my dream," he said, then laughed and kept scrolling. I made a mental note. When we passed the dealer's window downtown and he paused for half a second too long, I clocked that too. The watch was not just a gift. It was proof that I listened, proof that I remembered. Proof, I thought, that I knew him in ways nobody else did. It was supposed to be the centerpiece of my Christmas surprise. Ethan had flown home to his family in Colorado a week early, stressed about wrapping up a design project for his firm. "I'll just be buried in my old bedroom until you get there," he told me at the airport, kissing my forehead. "Christmas Eve will be our real start." Our plan was simple. I would fly in on the 24th, spend Christmas Day with his loud, chaotic family, and then we would take 2 days alone at a mountain cabin I had booked before driving back together. But my surprise was that I was not coming on the 24th. I was coming on the 23rd. I had changed my flight, used part of the bonus I had been saving, and planned to show up at his parents' door 1 day early with the watch in hand, ready to steal him away for a private dinner before the family noise swallowed us whole. I had imagined his face so many times that the scene felt almost real already. I was packing my carry-on when his text came through. December 22nd, 12 hours before I was supposed to leave. "Ethan, 4:18 p.m. "Hey, so change of plans for tomorrow." I smiled at first. He had no idea. "Ethan, 4:19 p.m. "Don't come for Christmas Eve." The words hit like a hand against my ribs. I stared at the screen, waiting for the follow-up. A joke, a typo, anything. "Ethan, 4:20 p.m. Marissa's going to be here with her family. Honestly, I just want a chance to catch up with her without it being weird. It's been years. We'll do our thing after New Year's, okay? Thanks for understanding." I read it once, then again, then a third time, slower, as if the sentence might become less insulting if I gave it patience. Marissa, his college girlfriend, the one with the perfect hair and the framed vacation photo still buried somewhere in his old social media. The one he once called the person who knew me before everything got complicated, then pretended he meant it innocently. I had never met her, but she had lived in our relationship like a ghost with a reserved chair. The apartment went silent around me. I could hear the refrigerator humming, traffic pulsing faintly below, my own breathing suddenly too loud. My first instinct was embarrassing. I wanted to explain the surprise, to say, "But I am already coming. I bought the watch. I planned something beautiful." As if romance could outbid disrespect. Then something colder and clearer moved through me. This was not a conversation. It was a notification. He had uninvited me from Christmas to make room for a woman from his past, and he had done it by text the day before. I typed back, "I need you to explain this to me. Call me." 5 minutes later, the phone rang. His face appeared on the screen, smiling in a photo I had taken last summer. It looked like evidence from another life. "Hey," he said, light and slightly impatient. There was family noise behind him, dishes, laughter, a child yelling. "You're uninviting me so you can catch up with Marissa," I said. He sighed. "Don't say it like that. It's not an uninvitation. It's complicated. Her family and mine go way back. She's going through some stuff, and I need to be there for her as a friend. You being here would make it tense. I'd feel watched." I sat very still. "You need to be there for her at Christmas, and I'm in the way?" "See, this is why I didn't want to get into it," he snapped. "You're making it about you. It's one night. We have our whole lives for Christmases. I think I need closure with her so I can fully move forward with us. Can't you support me in that? Closure. Mature. Support. Words chosen carefully to make my hurt look childish. So that's it, I said. You've decided I'm not coming. Yes, don't be dramatic. I looked at the half-packed suitcase, the folded sweater, the black box in my pocket, the life I thought we were building. Yeah, Ethan, I said quietly. We're good. Then I ended the call. For a long time after I hung up, I just sat on the edge of the bed with the suitcase open beside me. The anger came first, hot and bright, but it did not last. It burned through quickly against the sheer absurdity of what Ethan had done. What remained was quieter and more useful. Clarity. The kind that does not ask why, because why no longer matters. He could do it. He did do it. That was the fact. He had chosen the possibility of Marissa over the certainty of me, on one of the most intimate nights of the year, and had delivered that choice with the casual confidence of someone canceling dinner plans. I stood up. The first move was mechanical. I opened my laptop, went to the airline website, and canceled my flight. The credit would stay on my account for some future trip, a trip that would not include Colorado, his parents' house, or me standing in a hallway pretending not to notice his eyes searching for another woman. Then I took the little black box from my pocket and held it in my palm. The watch inside had felt meaningful yesterday. Now it felt humiliating. A symbol of my devotion, carefully wrapped and ready for a man who saw my presence as an inconvenience to his closure. I drove to the dealer downtown before I could talk myself into nostalgia. The shop was warm, polished, full of last-minute Christmas shoppers and soft music. The same clerk who had helped me months earlier recognized me. Her name was Elaine, an older woman with silver hair and the gentle confidence of someone who had seen every kind of love walk through glass doors. "Back so soon," she said with a smile. "Did he not like it?" "The watch was perfect," I said. "The recipient wasn't." Her smile faded. Not dramatically, just enough. She did not ask questions. She processed the return, slid the receipt across the counter, and gave me one small nod. The right man will understand what that kind of gift means. I thanked her and walked out with an empty hand and a lighter pocket. Back at the apartment, the real work began. I pulled my large suitcase from the closet, then a stack of cardboard boxes we had saved from some online order Ethan never bothered to break down. I started in the bathroom: toothbrush, skincare, shampoo, the hairdryer I bought after he complained mine was always on the counter. I took only what was mine. In the bedroom, I emptied my side of the closet, folded clothes with a calmness that felt almost unnatural, and removed my jewelry from the little ceramic dish he had made me when we first started dating. I took the framed photo from my nightstand, left the one on his. I stripped the sheets because they were mine, and left the mattress bare. I packed my books from the living room shelves, unplugged my speaker, took the throw blanket my sister had given me, and left behind the mug that said, "World's okayest boyfriend," because it suddenly felt more accurate than funny. Each item I boxed removed another thread connecting me to the illusion. The apartment did not feel emptier when I finished. It felt honest. His things remained. His couch, his records, his unfinished sketchbooks, the plants he forgot to water unless I reminded him. Without my belongings softening the edges, the place looked like what it really was. Ethan's life, with space I had been renting emotionally. It took 4 hours. When everything was loaded into my car, I did one final walkthrough. Bathroom, bedroom, living room, kitchen. No dramatic pause, no crying on the floor, no letter left behind like proof I had suffered properly. At the entryway, I removed my key from the ring. The metal was warm from my hand. I placed it in the center of the small table by the door, where he would have to see it when he came home. Then I walked out and closed the door behind me. I drove to a hotel near the airport because it was the easiest place to become unreachable without explaining myself. The lobby had fake garland around the desk and a tired man checking in a family with too many suitcases. My room was sterile, quiet, and impersonal. I ordered room service, watched half of a movie I could not remember 10 minutes later, and slept deeper than I had in weeks. The next morning was December 23rd, the day I was supposed to surprise Ethan. Instead, I rented a storage unit near my office and moved my boxes into a small concrete room that smelled like dust and cold metal. It felt temporary, but not tragic, an interim space, a bracket between the life I had left and the one I had not built yet. Then I drove to my older brother Michael's house in the suburbs. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and stepped aside without asking anything. "Beer's in the fridge," he said. "Couch is yours. Kids are running on sugar and wrapping paper. Fair warning." For the first time in 24 hours, I almost smiled. Michael's house was exactly the kind of chaos I needed, because it did not care about my heartbreak. His youngest was screaming about a missing roll of tape. His oldest was building a Lego spaceship on the living room floor with the intensity of a NASA engineer under congressional pressure. My sister-in-law, Rachel, was in the kitchen arguing with the oven timer, and Michael stood in the doorway wearing socks with reindeer antlers on them, like the whole world had not just shifted under my feet. It was loud, messy, warm, and so far away from Ethan's careful, self-important idea of closure that I could breathe again. I helped my nephew attach the wrong wing to the spaceship twice before he gently told me I was not great at engineering toys. Rachel fed me lasagna without asking if I was hungry. Michael let the noise cover the silence I carried until later, when the kids were half asleep and wrapping paper was already scattered across the floor like colorful wreckage. He found me in the kitchen, rinsing plates I did not need to rinse. "So," he said, leaning against the counter with a dish towel over his shoulder. "Want to tell me why you're here instead of in Colorado?" I told him calmly. Ethan had uninvited me from Christmas Eve so he could catch up with Marissa, his ex-girlfriend, without my presence making it weird. So I returned the watch, packed my things, left my key, and got a hotel. Michael stared at me for a long moment, then he let out a low whistle. "That is clinically awful." A laugh escaped me before I could stop it. It felt unfamiliar, but not unpleasant. "You okay?" he asked. "You seem weirdly okay." "I think I am weirdly okay," I said, surprised to hear it become true as I spoke. Maybe I was unhappy for a while and just needed one clear reason to stop pretending I wasn't. Michael nodded once, like that made perfect sense. "Good. Then stay as long as you need. And for the record, Ethan is an idiot." That night, I slept on their couch under a blanket that smelled faintly like laundry detergent and crayons. I slept better than I had in months. Christmas Eve passed with my phone mostly silent. I had muted Ethan, but I had not blocked him yet. Some detached part of me was curious. Would he text "Merry Christmas" like nothing happened? Would he call with fake warmth, pretending the conversation had been normal? I felt less like a heartbroken girlfriend and more like a scientist waiting for a predictable chemical reaction. The reaction came at 11:37 p.m. A voicemail. I was playing a video game with my nephew when the notification appeared. I waited until he got distracted by a cutscene, then slipped into the guest bathroom, locked the door, and pressed play. The Ethan in the message did not sound like the man who had told me not to be dramatic. He sounded broken open. His breathing came hard and wet, interrupted by sobs he was clearly trying and failing to control. "Donna," he said. "Oh my God, Donna, you won't believe what she did." I leaned against the sink and listened. "She brought him. She brought her fiancé, some finance guy from Connecticut, and she's—" His voice dropped into a horrified whisper. "She's pregnant. Like, really pregnant." showing. And she made this whole toast with him, holding his hand, talking about how Christmas was a full circle moment and how excited they were to start their family. There was a muffled sound, like he had covered the phone or pressed it against his chest. When he came back, his voice had changed. It was not just grief anymore. It was humiliation sharpened into panic. She did it on purpose. She knew I'd be here. She asked if I'd be here. My whole family saw it. My mom keeps giving me these looks. My dad left the room. Everyone is pretending it's fine, but it's a massacre here. Then the message shifted again, and suddenly all that devastation turned toward me, like a hand reaching for something useful. "I need you," he whispered. "Please. I'm so stupid. I see it now. I see everything clearly. Marissa is a monster. And you? You're my person. Please call me back. Just talk to me. Tell me it's going to be okay. I've never needed you more than I need you right now. Please, Donna." The message ended. I listened to it twice. The first time, I tracked the facts. Marissa had not come back alone. She had come with a fiancé, a pregnancy, and a public announcement sharp enough to cut Ethan in front of everyone he wanted to impress. The second time, I listened for what was missing. Not once did he apologize to me. Not for uninviting me. Not for choosing Marissa's comfort over mine. Not for making me feel like a problem to be removed from his holiday. His regret was entirely about himself. I deleted the voicemail, and I did not call him back. Christmas morning began with the smell of pancakes, the shriek of children discovering one last hidden gift, and my phone buzzing on the arm of Michael's couch like a small, trapped insect. I had slept under a blanket printed with cartoon snowmen in a room full of wrapping paper and plastic toy pieces, and for a moment, when I opened my eyes, I forgot the shape of my old life. Then I saw Ethan's name on the screen and remembered. Ethan, 9:14 a.m. Did you get my message? I'm really hurting. I stared at it while Michael's youngest ran past wearing a superhero cape and one sock. I did not answer. Ethan, 11:02 a.m. I can't believe you're ignoring me on Christmas. This is so cruel. By lunchtime, the narrative had already shifted. His humiliation had become my cruelty. His choice had vanished, replaced by my refusal to comfort him after the woman he had chosen to prioritize publicly reminded him he was not chosen back. Ethan, 2:48 p.m. My family is asking where you are. I don't know what to tell them. You're making this so much harder. That one almost made me laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it was so perfectly him. I had packed my belongings, left his apartment, deleted his sobbing voicemail, and somehow I was still expected to manage the discomfort of his family, asking where the girlfriend he had uninvited had gone. I did not block him yet. Some cold, observant part of me wanted to see the pattern finish. I watched his messages arrive like weather reports from a storm I had already left. The worst one came late on the 26th. Ethan, 10:17 p.m. So that's it? You're just going to disappear after 4 years? I'm sitting here devastated and you're being so cold. This is so like you, honestly. You always shut down when things get emotionally difficult. Marissa said you seemed like the kind of woman who would walk away instead of fighting for someone. I guess she saw it too. There it was, the final little door opening into the room I had not wanted to admit existed. Marissa had not just been someone he wanted closure with. She had been invited into the private architecture of our relationship. My character had been discussed. My reactions had been predicted. My love had been measured by a woman whose presence he had chosen over mine. And then he had stored her judgment like ammunition. A strange peace settled over me. This text was the gift. Not the watch, not the cabin, not the surprise I had planned like a fool. This. The last hidden corner of his disrespect, lit up clearly enough that I could never pretend not to see it again. I typed slowly. I listened to your messages. What happened with Marissa sounds like exactly what you asked for. A chance to catch up. You got it. I've moved on. Don't contact me again. I read it once. No anger, no insult, no plea, no hook for debate, just a door closing. Then I sent it and blocked him. When I walked back into the living room, Michael was watching basketball, with a paper crown from a Christmas cracker sitting crooked on his head. He glanced at me without turning down the volume. "You look lighter," he said. "I am," I said, and meant it. The silence after blocking Ethan was not empty, it was full, thick with a peace I had not known in years. It was the sound of a low alarm finally switching off. I stayed at Michael and Rachel's house for a week, a quiet guest in the cheerful chaos of their home, slowly remembering what it felt like to exist without waiting for someone else's mood to decide the day. In January, I found a new apartment downtown, a compact one-bedroom with big windows and a view of the river. It had no memories in the walls, no coffee mug he favored, no drawer where his old receipts gathered, no ghost of me trying to be understanding while he made me smaller. It felt less like a home at first and more like a command center. I liked that. A new life did not have to be cozy immediately. It only had to be mine. I threw myself into work. The project I had been coasting through while planning Ethan's Christmas surprise suddenly got my full attention. I arrived early, stayed late, answered emails with clean precision, and found a part of myself I had neglected while trying to be easy to love. By mid-January, my boss Clara called me into her office. "I don't know what changed," she said, folding her hands over a thick proposal packet. "But the Henderson materials were exceptional. I'm putting you forward to lead the new aerospace liaison team. It means travel, more visibility, and a significant promotion. Interested?" A promotion. Travel. A future that did not ask whether Ethan approved. "Absolutely," I said. And for the first time since that text on December 22nd, I felt something warmer than relief. I felt momentum. The attempts did not stop with the block. They simply changed doors. A week after New Year's, Ethan's mother Lisa called me twice, then left a voicemail in that syrupy, concerned tone parents use when they want to sound neutral while doing their child's cleanup work. "Donna, honey, we're all worried about you two. Ethan is a wreck. I know he made a silly mistake, but what is love without forgiveness? He needs you. This is when you stand by your man." A silly mistake. The phrase told me everything about the house that raised him. In their version, Ethan removing me from Christmas so he could chase old validation was a mistake. My refusal to come back and absorb the consequence was cruelty. Then came a text from Nolan, Ethan's best friend. The one who always acted like emotional accountability was something women invented to ruin football Sundays. "Donna, what the hell? You abandoned him after what Marissa did. He messed up, but you're acting heartless. 4 years and you throw it away over one night? Real women fight for relationships." I saved the number as Nolan Toxic and blocked it. Real women fight. What he meant was, real women tolerate disrespect quietly until the man feels better. The most polished attempt arrived in early February, an email from Ethan with the subject line, "Please read this." He said he was in therapy now. He said his therapist believed he had a pattern of self-sabotage when he got close to real happiness. He said Marissa represented unresolved insecurity, not a lack of love for me. He said he had been blind to my kindness, my steadiness, my quiet strength. He was not asking for another chance, he wrote, only a conversation, only closure, only the opportunity to apologize to my face. "You owe yourself that," he said, as if my healing were incomplete without giving him an audience. It was better written than the texts, better performed. But the center had not changed. I, me, my closure, My therapy, my realization. I was still a stage for his redemption. I did not reply. I created a filter that sent his emails straight to trash, and the click felt surgical. My closure came from ordinary things. My new apartment, my promotion. Saturday mornings at a climbing gym, where nobody knew Ethan's name. Coffee with friends I had neglected while managing his moods. Slowly, I became less like someone recovering from a breakup, and more like someone returning to her own body after a long absence. Then came Ben and Chloe's wedding in May. The invitation had been sent when Ethan and I were still together. RSVP for 2, neat and cheerful. I considered not going. It would have been clean and easy, but hiding was something I used to do when I was with him, making myself smaller to keep other people comfortable. I wrote Chloe, explained Ethan and I were no longer together, and offered to bow out. She called immediately. Donna, absolutely not. Then would be devastated. Please come. So I went, alone. The wedding was at a vineyard north of the city, golden light spilling over the terrace, champagne glasses catching the sunset. I saw Ethan during cocktail hour. He was standing with Nolan and 2 others, thinner than I remembered, laughed too loud, eyes scanning the crowd like he had been waiting to be seen. Then he saw me. Shock first, hope second, then wounded performance, carefully arranged. I gave him a small neutral nod and turned to congratulate Ben. He cornered me later by the stone wall overlooking the vines. Donna, he said softly, you look good. Thank you. You look well. A harmless social lie. His face tightened. I got your text. It was cold. After everything, you just dismissed me. There was nothing left to discuss. Nothing? He stepped closer. We were together for 4 years. We talked about marriage. You walked away without even fighting. You made your choice clear, I said. I respected it. You wanted space to reconnect with Marissa without me in the way, so I removed myself. That is not what I wanted. It is what you asked for. His eyes filled, but I had seen the mechanics of those tears before. She used me. She humiliated me. I have never felt so alone. I said nothing. The silence did what comfort would have refused to do. It made him stand inside his own words. So that's it? He whispered. You feel nothing? I feel that the man I loved revealed himself through his choices. Now I'm building a life that does not include him or the consequences of those choices. What you feel and what you need are not currencies I deal in anymore. He blinked. Currencies? It means you're asking me to invest emotional energy in something that already bankrupted me once. I closed that account. His hurt flashed into spite. You think a promotion and a new apartment make you happy? You're alone. At that moment, Clara appeared beside me with perfect timing, touching my arm lightly. Donna, sorry to interrupt. The Henderson team lead just arrived. He's eager to meet you before Monday. I smiled for real. Of course. I turned back to Ethan. Excuse me. I did not look back as I walked away. I did not need to. His story of me waiting, hurting, secretly hoping, died behind me in the vineyard light. The band started playing inside. The future was calling from another room. And this time, I answered.